This is Night Shift. The time is 5:55. We join ITN for the news.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 23rd of December. This is ITN's Morning News. America's President-elect Bill Clinton has appointed the key officials who will dominate the relationships between the U.S. and the rest of the world. The Secretary of State in the Clinton administration will be Warren Christopher, the Defense Secretary Les Aspin. This report from Britt Hume of America's ABC News.
If the theme of the Clinton campaign was change, the watchword of his national security appointment seems to have been experience. In Warren Christopher, he's chosen a veteran of Democratic administrations dating back to Kennedy. Christopher's a cautious man, as he showed when he was asked what would be the central foreign policy problem he would face and how he would face it.
You know, there's a long-established tradition in Washington, at least in the Foreign Relations Committee, that one doesn't answer questions like that until after he's confirmed.
In Les Aspin, Clinton has named a 22-year veteran of the House of Representatives who showed that he, too, knows how to step around a question that might be dangerous to answer. He was asked how he would carry out Clinton's promise to reverse the ban on gays in the military.
The word from the top here is to deal with this thing very, very carefully, but to deal with it very, very deliberately. I agree with that policy, and that's what we're going to do.
Tony Lake, tapped as National Security Advisor, is also an old Washington hand who served in senior advisory posts under both Presidents Nixon and Carter. More recently, he's been a college professor and, he insists, a working farmer, which he said explained how he was coaxed back into government.
I did it because the price of beef is down.
Clinton, once again fighting a failing voice, explained the seeming contrast between his promises of change and the continuity represented by today's appointments.
And I always tried to make the point that I thought we needed some continuity and some change. I don't think that you can make change in an area this important unless you also know what has to be maintained and unless you have people of real seasoning and judgment.
And people of real seasoning and judgment can be hard to find when your party has held the White House only 4 of the past 24 years. That's why the Clinton foreign policy team was bound to look, at least, a lot like the Carter foreign policy team. Britt Hume, ABC News, Little Rock.
American military commanders have said they're prepared to use cruise missiles against Serbian airfields if necessary to enforce the no-fly ban over Bosnia. The Prime Minister has predicted the United Nations will pass a resolution enforcing the zone within days. Mr. Major was speaking during his surprise visit to Bosnia to meet British troops helping the humanitarian aid operation there. He says their safety will remain his top priority.
When we have that no-fly zone, be absolutely certain that the matter foremost in the minds of the government and others will be to ensure your security out here. That is not for 1 second going to be overlooked as we make further diplomatic moves.
But there are growing worries among British officers that a ban on Serbian flights will provoke revenge attacks on UN forces. 157 passengers and crew were killed when a Libyan airliner crashed on an internal flight, the second major air disaster in 2 days. Libyan officials are investigating the cause, but ITN understands it collided with a military jet. The Boeing 727 was on a flight from Benghazi to Tripoli when it came down on its approach to the capital. And the Princess of Wales will almost certainly spend Christmas apart from her children, the Princes William and Harry. The Princess has turned down the Queen's invitation to join the rest of the royal family at Sandringham. She'll be spending time with her 2 sons at her family home in Northamptonshire. Finally, a British squaddy might have thought Christmas had come when he was presented with a tin of Quality Street chocolates at a checkpoint. But this was Cookstown in Northern Ireland, so he had the tin checked just in case. And yes, it did contain Semtex. That's the morning news. We'll be back at 5 to 6 tomorrow. Goodbye.